What's happening, YouTube? It's Paddy from the Hangar here. I know it's been a while between episodes, but that seems to be the norm nowadays. It's been very, very busy, new job and all that nonsense. However, I'm keen to progress things along, so hopefully we can do that today with a song called Get Up, Hit Back. So the majority of this seems to be done. It just seems to be maybe vocals. I've not done all of the lyrics yet. I have actually progressed some of the lyrics for this one. But I think in the meantime, in order to cycle it through, in order to progress it a little bit, I'm going to do something I would have done regardless of whether or not the lyrics were finished. I'm going to put in some guitars from... I'm going to use Amplitube. Right, I understand what I've done there. Try to load it up as a send when there'll be no send that exists with that name. I'm so rusty with like things, so just try bear with me. Gotta use the PRS because it's probably the most well-rounded guitar I have. It would be very, very easy to turn around and just label the PRS as, you know, the best guitar that I have. And I don't think it would be unfair to say that. Right, learn songs. You found as well, I don't know if you noticed it with the last episode, I'm not even going to bother standing up. There's no point in me doing it because I'm just going to sit here with Amplitube. I'm not listening to it through headphones because again there's no reason for me to. What the fucking hell is that noise? Anyway, let's record enable that track, record enable this, and then go into it, I think. Whoops.
Tis confusion! Squire!
Is what I thought it was. Blah. I keep forgetting about the change that I've brought in. that same mistake all over again. That doesn't bode well for the last track I just recorded. The entire guitar being out a little bit. Ben's not the one. I don't know what it is. I'm telling myself to play the open fucking string and don't slide up to the E on the fifth. But for some reason, I'm not playing the open E and I'm sliding up to the fifth. So, don't slide up to the fifth. Play the open E. Again, don't slide up to the fifth. Let's do that again. didn't hit the notes the way I wanted to that last bit, so I'm going to try that again. Don't know where I'm going to come in. Say there. When you're building a song and there's lots of tracks, it can start to sound like a mess and overwhelming. That's why it is best to try keep it to a minimum, like enough is enough. So like I'll need to decide what I'm doing with those guitars. I can duplicate them, I can pan them, or I can have one doing one ear, one doing the other. But you know, I'll decide that at some point. That then single coil cuts through the mix. So they are basically two cheeks of the same arse. They're the same. I'll find out if they're legal rhythm in a second. So I've been Paddy, this has been The Hangar. Please do subscribe, like, share the word, all those good things. But most importantly, safe landing.